Are you curious on how to use a 3D face roller and a T-bar massage tool? Well, I'm here to tell you all about it, in case you're curious. This is a 3D facial massaging tool or roller. And this literally, as it looks like, is a T-bar. So I'm gonna begin with a 3D face roller. Why you would use these types of tools primarily is they help with defining, okay, contouring, possibly adding a little bit of tightness to the skin. It's really all about giving the face a face massage by using tools. Different tools will work in different ways, and it's really about preference and what you enjoy the most. I know these 3D face massaging tools have been quite popular. It's been brought to my attention a few times, so it's been really fun having a chance to work with it for a little while. And what are some really interesting features about this is it makes like the letter Y, so maybe I'll face it this way so you can see that it has the Y look. It has a pretty good substantial grip to it, so you really have a good hold on it. But what really makes this quite unique over other types of tools is that each of the balls actually go 360 degrees. So they rotate as you're going to be moving the tool in each of the sections of your face. Another thing that's really interesting here about using this tool in particular is that it's not always 100% necessary to have a bunch of product on your skin beforehand, because we really want to be able to roll and kind of grip the skin a little bit more, so we really have that contouring and more focus for definition on the skin. So you could use a bit of product if you like, but I think keeping in mind, just make sure the skin is really clean and a bit dried down before you go and do the application. And you could use some product like a face oil. And I'll talk about those a little bit later on in our chat today. So really, it's quite simple, is you want to always be working from like the center outwards, and then you can gently roll back. So to be able to express it easier, you want to be a firmer pressure going upwards and a little bit less pressure rolling downwards. And you can begin the entire, like a cycle, by starting in the chest area to really help with lymphatic. So I got my uniform on today, so a little bit trickier, but at home, you can have this area bare, and then you want to start from the center and then rolling towards the underarms. You want to catch it right here and then back and forth. Rhythm of 3 is perfect. So you could go harder pressure out and then lightly coming back in, and then you'll move up to the clavicle area, doing the same thing, and then you can go right above the collarbone. So always beginning to open up everything before moving upwards towards the top of the forehead. So what you could do is you go across here, here, and here. Then let's give you this side. You could go then up the neck in here. So what's really interesting is that you actually have these like perfect little spots for you to do it. I would though avoid right down center because of the sensitivities. That's where our thyroid is, right? So it also feels a bit uncomfortable. So better just to skip over it completely. So we would run, to see here a little bit better. Okay, so we would run here, up, remember firmer up, and then a low roll down. So you almost see, I'm trying to give you a bit of a, maybe this way would be kind of good. You can see how the roller just catches right in between. So when you're coming back, it's almost like gripping the skin and the muscle area, really giving you that lift in, and it's super relaxing. So we would start here, center, okay? And then you would roll straight up the jaw. And remember, less pressure coming down, because allowing it just to grip it, and then you would do it again. And I see you don't even have to lift it off. Back and forth. Work into the next zone, which is in the center. Up to the ear, and then back down again. Oh, I wish there was like, you know how they have smell-o-vision we always wish we could have so you guys can smell how amazing products are? I wish there was a way for you to really feel these. So if you have one at home, you can follow along with me. And then here again, up. So you're noticing I'm always following the contour. And then, I know you're all probably looking for, what about between the eyes? Who doesn't need this for tension? So we go, and I would probably just work in this section So at the top of the nose, the bridge of the nose, just to above the eyebrow. So you could just work in here and then down. And then you can go across the brow itself. Okay, so maybe just for visual, I'll give it to you a little bit better this way. Okay, so you can see it catching just perfect. And then lightly back and a little more firm going one way. And then you can, of course, then just go ahead and do the classic for the expression lines on your forehead. So you can see how this is quite easy to use. You could use it anywhere, just sitting down on your sofa or in the morning to do a refresh. Spending maybe, 4 minutes per side, just as long as you're going in the rhythm of 3 and ensuring that you've taken time to open up around the chest area before you've moved upwards. So that is this guy here. And before I get into talking to you about the T-bar, don't forget to subscribe, of course, and to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. All right, T-bar. There's a couple of things about this one that's really interesting. So with the 3D facial roller, it's just a stabled product, right? So the item, pardon me, it's a tool that doesn't need any battery or any type of charge to it, but the T-bar does. There's actually batteries in the inside here, and just for the sake of showing you what it is, it really works like an ultrasonic. So it has a little vibration that happens in the tool at the head itself, acting and kind of mimicking a nice massage, a bit of circulate. So you'll end up with a super rosy glow afterwards. So I'm not talking like you're gonna turn red or super pink, but it's really gonna help bring up a little bit of vitality in your skin, leaving you nice and glowing afterwards. But I'm gonna just turn it on so you can hear it, just that I know my, my sound, guys, you're just gonna have to show it because it is quite loud in my mic. Okay, so for the sake of today, but knowing at home you're going to be using it, but I want to turn it on to show you. And usually it's just a nice little twist here at the end, and you can hear it now. It's got that good kind of sound, almost like an electric razor sound to it. But what's happening is that vibration is hitting at the top of the T, and it's so fast and it's really micro. And the point of it is that, like I said, helping with getting that like energy into the skin, but at the same time, it's also going to help with the contouring. Now, the difference between using the T-bar versus the 3D roller is that instead of going back and forth with this tool, I'm going to start in the center. I'm going to go up, then lift, and then come back to that start point again. And we'll still be working, of course, in this outward motion, and then we're also going to work a little bit more to define or sculpt in this area of the underneath the cheek. As with 3D roller, as I mentioned before, product is not super necessary because we want to have some traction. We have to let this tool do its work, but please on a good cleansed skin. If you want to do additional products at home, like besides cleansing, maybe you're going to exfoliate, maybe you want to do a mask. This would be a really great time after you do your mask and before you put on your moisturizers to do the T-bar would be a great time to do it. And of course, for both tools, regardless, at the very end of your treatment on yourself, you would use your finishing products like face oils, serums, moisturizers, etc. So today, I'm just on a dry skin today, and then I would turn my tool on, and I can do the same thing by opening and getting everything working. So I would cross from the center of my chest over to the edge of the underarm and do this 3 times, but again, not back and forth, but start, go to the end, pick up, and then keep going. So we do this all the way across. Same thing for the neck area. You'd be doing the same thing. Again, avoid the center. You could, though, go right here under the, in the jowl area. And then when we start, we're gonna find the center point. You would begin here, and then you would allow the tool to do the work. Remember, it's got the vibration, and it'll just get that little massaging going on, and then you would end here at the edge of the base of the ear. And then you do the same things. Find the center, and then come to the ear. Then you can move in a little bit more just above to really start some of that contouring. So here. And I would just like to note, because it's like circular, it's like got a nice sphere, not sphere, you know what I'm talking about. what this means is that you're not really having to be specific in as long as it's full length along the skin. I hope that made sense. Now, for the fold line, this is where it gets a little bit different, is you want to hold the area taut and you want to work up in here this way. So you want to really get in here to get that, help with that fine line that we might see here. And then you can do the same from the center up till you hit the cheekbone. Okay, so this is what makes it just a little bit different than when we're doing the 3D roller. You can then start here. Now, I will tell you, you might sneeze because when you get that vibration, that's happening right across our sinuses, across to the edge of your hair, you might get a little bit of tickle and you might sneeze. Perfectly fine, okay? So you would do the same here and then up. When you're ready then to do the center of the forehead, so you'd start here at the base and then go straight up. So do the same thing and go straight up. And then one more time, of course, to here. And then you're gonna work your way across, but instead of going across all at once, we're gonna concentrate in one area at a time. So above the brow, we're gonna go 1. I think it's gonna be pretty good here. And then 2, and then 3. And now you're just ready to move along to now more at the upper part of the brow, and the same thing. And that's right up. I know this isn't even vibrating, and it's still very relaxing. Promise I wouldn't fall asleep today. Here we go, and then up again. So you can see now that I'm coming a little bit closer down into my temple area and then moving upwards. And that is pretty much it. And then you can move to the other side. You can also go directly across the lips. So you can start in the center and then move to the edge of your lip. So if you really want to get that circulation going or get some energy around the lip area, giving it maybe plumping effect possibly, okay, you could then use it here. So once you do the one side, you're ready to do the next. So for product-wise, personally, I love facial oils. I think they're still some of the best products that we could be using when we're using tools, because there's also additional benefit to our face oils. They give you just enough slip. They do eventually absorb really beautifully into the skin. So even after you finish the treatment, you can allow those beautiful facial oils to stay within the skin. The most important thing, of course, then is just making sure your tools are super clean. So if your skin is clean, your tool is clean, then everything will stay in nice harmony. So if you really want to learn a little bit more, especially around our jade rollers and our gua shes, head over here and check out this video.